Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our course orientation this morning. Today, we will be looking at BSB60420, the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management at LET Training. My name is Tim Stalker. I am one of the course advisors here, and joining me today, I have one of our trainers, Ray McCall. Ray, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Tim, for the opportunity to be with you.
No problem. Now, just before we get started, Ray, some of the people watching the orientation might not have had dealings with you in the past. So what was your background before you were training with us?
Yeah, sure. Quite extensive from a strategic leadership and management point of view in a raft of roles at local business through to regional and national roles with organisations and across a variety of sectors, predominantly the hospitality industry in global hotel chains and casinos, but also spent time in a national role in facility services, in education management, and more recently in community services. And then wrapping around all of my professional experience, my postgraduate qualifications is a master's in educational leadership and management.
Fantastic, fantastic. So just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping for everyone watching. Feel free to ask questions during the session. Either myself and Ray will be happy to answer them, or alternatively, we do have course advisors monitoring the chat. In the event of it being a more in-depth question or a question requiring a bit more of a back and forth, one of the course advisors might ask to take your details, at which point we'll give you a call or send you an email after the orientation is over. We will also pause the orientation at a couple of places, just so that way, if people in the chat have any questions, they can raise them then as well. But as we said, today we are looking at the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management. This is a nationally recognised course. It is part of the Australian Qualifications Framework. As we see here, it is a level 6 course. It is the most recent version of the course as well. This version of the course was introduced back in 2020. Now, the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management does have entry requirements on it. So you do need to meet certain requirements before you were able to enroll and study this course. Specifically, we would be asking for completion of a diploma level course in the BSB training package. So, for example, the Diploma of Leadership and Management could be one. Other ones that we offer at LET Training could be the Diploma of HR or Diploma of Business Admin. Alternatively, you would need to demonstrate at least 2 years experience in an organization's leadership roles. For more information on that, we would always recommend having a talk to our course advisors, and we'd be happy to provide you with more specific pieces of evidence we would need to obtain before you're able to study this course. Moving on from here, after completing the Advanced Diploma course, this is the highest level we offer at LET Training. Going on from here, we would potentially recommend having a look at tertiary studies at university. As we see here, we have some career outcomes listed. These are only a few of the options you might be able to obtain after completing the Advanced Diploma of Leadership. Now, the good thing about the Leadership and Management course is it is general enough to apply to just about any industry. So, Ray, what are some other areas potentially that people who complete this course might be able to access?
Yeah, look, I mentioned in the introduction strategic, and that's certainly where this qualification is focused. So from an outcome role point of view, we're looking at people who are either being succession planned into or who currently have those higher level roles in organisations. So that's senior management, for example, a divisional head or a general manager of operations, where there's a brigade of general managers across an organisation. It could be from managing director or a CEO in a SME, small to medium business, someone who takes on an area management role, for example, would pitch. So it's certainly that escalated level beyond the operational, beyond the tactical in a day-to-day leadership of team, but talking about oversight of a full organisation or a large division. And again, as you've alluded to, cross-industry, all roles, all industries with those senior leadership responsibilities certainly has merit in terms of applying this qualification.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the Advanced Diploma of Leadership is also a good opportunity for people to potentially not only do leadership and management skills, but also develop other skills as well. Now, we offer a couple of other advanced diplomas at training, business and human resources. Ray, if people were looking to get the most bang for their buck, to use a phrase,
Yeah.
would you say combining it with business or HR would be a good opportunity?
Look, certainly valuable, because each of those then represents another dimension to their portfolio of skills. Certainly combining it with, as you say, a qualification in HR with a strong focus on organisational change, given the turbulence the world is encountering and the business world predicted, a key skill for the 21st century. I think that dual approach is certainly valid.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So we'll just move on now to our next section, which is on the course outline. Now, as we've said, this is a nationally recognised qualification. You will have 12 months to complete this course. And as we see here, we have broken the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management down into 10 specific skill points. Now, having a look here at the professional skills, Ray, one of the things we get asked a lot as course advisors is that some of these might not look applicable. And one that gets asked about a little bit is manage organizational finances. Some people come to us and they say, well, I'm not involved in the finance department. Is this really something I have to learn, or is this something I'm just going to delegate to someone else anyway? What would you say to that?
My response as a practitioner from the organisational world, it's everyone's responsibility to manage organisational finances. And if you are at a strategic role as a manager, the expectation is that you are accountable at a financial level, that you are adept at being able to develop, contribute to and develop a budget, and certainly be able to respond to variance reporting on a profit and loss statement. So it's an underpinning skill, and at the end of the day, from a business, whether that be for profit or not for profit, it's dollars and cents that get taken to the bank. So organizational finance for anyone who is in a leadership and management role, crucial.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, another question we get asked about is relating to these skills that we've got here, especially professional skills. People say, potentially there are other areas they're looking to study as well, maybe some other skills they want to incorporate into this course. Is there the possibility that we could change or alter any of the skills that we're seeing here?
Look, I'll qualify that, or qualify my response in the context that there could be opportunities which would need to be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, but from a learning and assessment pathway, as opposed to recognition of prior learning, that would be highly dependent upon our offering in terms of our resources within the organisation. It may be, as I say, and I do distinguish recognition of prior learning, that there may be scope for incorporating particularly units that align with the candidate's professional experience. Again, mindful that all of that is dictated by what we refer to as the packaging rules of the qualification itself.
Fantastic. Now, we do have a question in chat regarding to hours per unit. We will get to that in just a moment. I will just point out first that all 10 units do need to be completed so that you can receive your advanced diploma. If at the end of your 12-month enrolment term, you haven't completed all of those units and you choose not to do a course extension, that's completely fine. You will receive a statement of attainment for any units that you have completed all of the assessment tasks for. Now, the question in chat was, as I said, regarding to how many hours of study per unit do we recommend? Now, as this is an advanced diploma course, it is a bit more in-depth than diploma or certificate 4. So we estimate anywhere from 60 to 75 hours of study per unit. Now, this varies wildly from person to person. Some people get through units especially quickly. Others need a little bit more time, or they need multiple assessment attempts or multiple sessions with their trainer before they're able to finish it. So it really varies. It's up to the individual. That's the great thing about self-paced learning. There's no exact timeframes for you to finish units in, but as a rough estimate, as a rule of thumb, we stay between 60 to 75 hours per unit. And I'll just hold here for a moment and see if there are any other questions so far we can help with. There doesn't appear to be any more coming from the chat, so we'll just move on now into our next section, which concerns the learning facilitation model. Now, as both myself and Ray have said, this is an online course. Once you receive your login details, you can log into your learning portal anywhere and any time, so long as you have a computer or internet access. We currently have people studying in situations such as remote areas of Australia doing fly-in, fly-out work. We currently have people in the Defence Force studying while overseas. We've also had people in the past take their studies with them on overseas learning, overseas vacations and holidays while they've been working, for example. The most important thing to remember is you do need that reliable internet access, and you do need access to a desktop or laptop computer to be able to finish your assessments. The learning platform has all your learning and assessment materials available. You're not waiting for any printouts or hard copies of materials to be sent to you. And we also have here some information on our webinars. Now, Ray, you're involved with the webinars. What are some of the specific areas that the webinars have covered concerning the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management?
Sure, absolutely. I'll just qualify two distinct streams in terms of those webinars. The first one is a suite that unpacks all of the assessment specifications, and we'll talk about those in a moment, for the individual units embedded in the program. So, for example, I've just recently completed a full walkthrough of the practical project for the unit entitled Provide Leadership Across the Organisation, which you saw was one of the core or fundamental units in the qualification build. So a suite that will give insights in terms of what's required and what each learner is required to demonstrate. Running parallel to that is a complete and it's an ongoing suite of webinars that is constantly updated on topics related to or supporting the individual unit content. So some examples there, you would have seen under the professional skills, developing organisational strategies. So I've conducted a webinar around undertaking and recording what's known as a PEST or PESTLE analysis, which is a core skill to be able to analyse the external environment, to be able to develop a strategy for an organisation. Others, particularly from a people perspective, I've just recently delivered a tool on navigating a modern award for payroll management purposes, which certainly aligns with that finance unit that you picked up on, given that, again, when in a leadership role, it's traditionally common you would be accountable for financial costs of payroll and payroll-related costs. So therefore, and being able to navigate an award, an industrial instrument, a critical tool. Some others, things like for the unit on workforce planning, understanding and supply and demand analyses. I've done separate sessions on distinguishing types of plans within a business, from the strategic business to your operational and action plans, and then through to things like writing a business report, which is a core skill at any time in a senior role.
Fantastic. Now, with the webinars, you are able to view them live. We will always give you advance notice of webinars that are being recorded. Alternatively, if you can't watch them live, that's completely fine. We will always send you links so you can view them later at your own pace. And just a little bit further with the learning facilitation model is on the tutors. Now, you will be assigned a dedicated tutor or trainer who will be there to support you while you complete your studies with us. You are able to contact your tutor or trainer several different ways. First off, and most students choose to do this, is to send their questions via email. All emails will be responded to within one business day. Now, alternatively, you may also like perhaps a bit more of an in-depth answer to some questions, or maybe you need some feedback on an assessment attempt. What we would recommend then is booking in a support session. Those support sessions can be done over the phone. More and more people now are switching to Zoom for them, though. They will be 30 minutes long, and we would recommend booking a couple of days in advance, either with our admin team or directly with the trainer. Your trainer is also the assessor who will be marking your assessment tasks as you submit them. Assessments are marked within 5 business days. If you aren't considered competent, it will always be returned to you with feedback. So it will give you ideas on where you might be able to improve for your next attempt. It is important to know as well that these support services are included in the course fees. There is no additional fees for any of the support services we have at LEP training. We'll just move on now to our next section, which is on the assessment tasks. And as we see here, we have an example of one of the assessment tasks there. Each unit, has two separate assessments in it. The first one is a knowledge assessment. Now, these are a series of short answers that come from the resource material, and they're designed so trainers know that the student has read and understood the resources. Is that correct, Ray?
That's correct, such that can have that holistic understanding of what the unit is all about, to then apply that to their practical project.
Fantastic, which we're just coming to now. Now, the practical projects do vary from unit to unit. Ray, what are some of the tasks people might be asked to complete as part of these practical assessments?
Yeah, look, certainly a suite of business-related documentation aligned to the unit themselves. From a role-playing, a skill demonstration point of view, quite a wide variety of activities involved, from facilitating management presentations. So again, a high-level pitching of a presentation around a strategic issue. For example, it could be engaging in a consultation meeting with a CEO of an organisation to negotiate on a proposal and achieve approval. It could be a meeting again to present, I alluded to from a finance point of view, to present a variance report with accountability for discrepancies or variances to a senior management team or board. So quite high level, and requiring advanced preparation and ability to talk at a strategic level.
Exactly right, exactly right. And these can be booked in with your trainer between 9 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Sydney time. You do not need access to a classroom, work site, or any form of work placement to finish these assessments off. They've been specifically designed so people who may not be in the workforce at the moment or may not have access to a work site to complete these assessments can still complete them. We give case studies and simulated workplaces for people to draw from, so that way you don't actually need to use your current or pre-existing experience to complete them. Now, I'll just stop here for a moment because a question has just come through in chat. The question is, can I print the learning materials? Absolutely. We don't provide physical copies of assessment tasks or resource material, but you are more than welcome to print them off yourself if you're the sort of person that likes to have a physical set of notes there. We will just hold here for a moment as well. We'll just see if there are any other questions from chat that we can help with. So another question coming through here. What software applications do I need to complete this course? Okay, that's a very good question. Now, what we recommend, the most important one is access to Microsoft Office. That is the most important one. Otherwise, you would need Zoom. You would also need a way to view PDFs, and you would also need a software to zip and unzip files. So WinZip is probably the most common one of them. You would also need to have a web camera for some assessment tasks. Was there anything else that I'm missing there, Ray?
No, certainly covered off on all of the key tools to successfully complete.
Fantastic. We'll just move on now to our next section, and this section is on. Oh, is there a second question coming through in chat? No, that was just a thank you. Move on now to other assessment pathways. Now, as well as just completing the assessment tasks, there are other options for people to be considered competent in a unit. And we have a couple listed here. Now, the first one is a credit transfer. Credit transfers, they're based on previous studies in VET courses. That's right, Ray?
That's correct. We're comparing prior completions in the vocational education and training sector, literally apples for apples, that you've completed the unit, and we recognise it automatically. With one qualification, that it still needs to fit within the currency requirements of the rules of evidence under the standards for registered training organisations, such that if it's a superseded version, particularly one that's not from the present or the very recent present, which is the wording under the standards, that then we will require additional evidence confirming currency of exercise of that skill.
Fantastic. Now, for this credit transfer assessment, we would need evidence to be provided. This is in the form of a transcript. It can either be from the institute you previously studied at, or it can be from USI itself. Credit transfer assessments can also be completed prior to enrolment. You can submit your transcripts before you enroll, and one of our senior trainers can assess that and determine if there are any areas of credit transfer. There are also no additional fees on credit transfer assessments. Now, this is in comparison to recognition of prior learning, or RPL. Now, RPL, that's more focused on informal skills developed in the workplace, correct?
That's correct, Tim. Yeah, so that it's being able to evidence all of the relevant assessment requirements for a unit based on that workplace experience. And it really does rely upon the learner being able to submit valid, appropriately redacted or de-identified from a commercial in confidence perspective, but robust evidence that clearly demonstrates their capability to perform what the unit requires. And look, this could include, depending on the nature of the unit, things like key documentation at a whole of organisation level that the candidate has drafted, consulted on, developed, implemented, and then proceeded to manage and monitor and update. And that could be anything from policies and procedures as part of the organisation's quality management system. It could be aspects of the organisation's work health and safety management system, the WHSMS. It could be projects and all of the documentation, the project plans, with all of the preparatory business cases and feasibility studies, the organisation's operational plan as implemented and monitored. So it's that cold, hard documentation that clearly allows evidencing that you as the learner actively engaged in that process and demonstrated the required skills.
Great, fantastic. Now, the initial consultation with the trainer can be done prior to enrolment. That's a simple back and forth conversation over the phone, wouldn't take more than around 20 minutes, where the trainer can suggest, based on a discussion of your previous work history and the skills, roles and responsibilities you're currently undertaking, they would then be able to advise you of areas where there potentially could be RPL opportunities. After enrolment, your trainer will provide you with the specific list of evidence you would need to obtain. It's called an RPL kit. So you would go off and develop this portfolio of evidence that Ray discussed. It's when you submit your evidence, when you submit that portfolio to your trainer for your official RPL assessment, that's when a fee would be incurred. Now, the fee varies depending on the number of units that you are requesting RPL for. However, the fees would be made very clear before you submit that evidence. Now, one other option here, Ray, that we have listed is gap training. Now, this is in event of someone potentially completing certain areas of a unit, but not the entire thing, correct?
That's correct, where once the evidence has been assessed under an RPL application, it could lead to an outcome of partial RPL, because let's say two of the elements, as we describe them, of the unit of competency and the assessment requirements are addressed. However, there is one that's not. So there's a clear gap in terms of the candidate's experience. In that case, as you said, we would then design a training and assessment component to address that particular shortfall. So with the combination of the partial RPL and the completed gap training and assessment activity, an outcome is accessible or available for the learner.
Great, fantastic. We'll just move on now to our next section. And this section is on support services. Now, if you have any questions prior to enrolling, you can reach us several different ways. You can reach us by phone there, 0296333929. Our office hours are there, 9 until 5 Monday to Friday. That is Sydney time. So if you are in another state, or if potentially you are overseas, you will need to incorporate time differences when you're making those contacts. If you have any questions prior to enrolment, you can always email the course advisory team. which is listed there at enquire@lettraining.com.au. After enrolment, we also have a series of Facebook groups that have been set up in Certificate 4, Diploma and Advanced Diploma level students. This is used as a motivational tool, or if people need any advice on any assessments. Also, we've had a couple of people in the past actually ask for people if they would like assistance with them. So potentially they could be completing one of the practical assessments together. We've had that happen recently. We will move on now to enrolment. Now, if you are ready to enroll in the Advanced Diploma course, you can enroll via a couple of different methods. First off, and most people choose to do this, is enroll via our website. The link there is available for the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management. When you go to the page, you are looking for that orange bar that says Enroll Now. Clicking that will take you straight through to the enrolment section. If you need any help with that, you can always reach us by phone at 0296333929. Our admin team would be able to direct you to that section of the website, or alternatively, they might suggest it might just be easier to complete an enrolment form. Those enrolment forms are one of the attachments that's provided with every course information pack that we email out. All you need to do is complete that form and email it back to us. Now, whether you enroll online or whether you choose to enroll via the form and email it back to us, your enrolment will be processed within 1 business day, and you will receive your login details and your trainer's contact details via email. If you do choose to enroll with us, you can choose to pay for the course up front, or alternatively, you can choose to pay for it via a payment plan. We have multiple payment plans for all of our courses here at Let Training. For example, here we have 50% upfront and 50% in either 30 or 60 days, or alternatively, an upfront payment followed by monthly, fortnightly, or weekly installments. Now, these do incur an admin fee, and those admin fees are very clearly laid out both in the online enrolment process as well as the enrolment form if you choose to fill one of them out. We are also able to customize a payment plan. So if you'd like to pay off a little bit more each week or each fortnight and get through those repayments quicker, don't hesitate, get in touch with the course advisors, let us know, and we'll always see if our accounts team can put together a customized package for you. The most important thing to remember, though, is that the upfront costs, whether it's the $150 listed here or whether it is different, the upfront payment must remain as it is. We cannot change that. We'll just open up now and we'll see if there are any further questions from the chat. I will just keep that open for another moment. Okay, there doesn't appear to be any questions from chat. So at this stage, what we'll do is we'll wrap up the orientation today. This has been the orientation for the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management with Let Training. That is BSB60420. I'd like to thank Ray. Ray, thanks a lot for your time today.
My pleasure completely, Tim. And as I always say, I look forward to welcoming new learners to Let Training and supporting their program progress.
Fantastic. So if you do have any questions, you can reach the course advisors at enquire@lettraining.com.au, or you can always contact us by phone 0296333929, or you can always ask us on Facebook at Let Training 1. With no other questions from chat, we'll finish up the orientation now. My name is Tim Stalker. I'm one of the course advisors here at Let Training, and thank you for your attendance today. Have a great day.